friends, I am Tamara with Luce Bianca Sound Healing and Meditation, and today I am doing a video with my second channeling with Archangel Michael. I woke up this morning, did my meditation routine, and asked Archangel Michael if he wanted to do another channeling, and it was a positive feeling, a positive response. So I started thinking a little bit about what we could tap into, what kind of message you wanted to share. If you watched my last video, which was the first time I channeled Michael, it was a very gentle, easy process, just a general, beautiful message. And I know he went easy on me. And I kind of thought the same was going to happen in this second channeling video. But it's a little bit of a tougher topic that it took me a little bit to kind of dissect and really just really process it so I can relay it to you all. So let's just go ahead and get started. So for this channeling, if you're new to me, the way I do it is I get into a meditative state and I tap into which oracle cards Michael wants me to use. So I have 4 cards picked out. It's one from the Star Seed Oracle deck, and one is from the Archangel Michael Oracle. And of course, it is the perfect selections of decks for the message that he wants me to bring. So like I said, I was hoping to do something a little bit lighter and easier to understand, but some things have happened today during my day that led me to this message. So I had basically some visits that I have done. I had a few errands to run, and the first one, when I went to visit a friend, we started chatting about energies, and she pointed out to me my butterfly and the wolf in my butterfly, which is probably off camera right now. And we started talking about that, and then maybe I'll do a video on the meaning of that for me. But she basically connected with me and brought up the wolf and brought up the fact that the butterfly has been a transitional symbol for her, and that she's been going through just healing a lot of trauma and processing a lot of childhood trauma, which is, for me as well, the meaning of the wolf for my own trauma as a child. So it was really cool, very amazing to connect with her on that level. And then shortly after that, I went straight to another appointment. And I do not know this person, but I was checking out. I've been there before, but like I said, I don't know this person, but I was checking out, and she automatically said something about my tattoo, and specifically about the moon. So that was like the second time today that the moon came up. And she said, there's something about you, like with the moon, like there is an energy about you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a moon child. I love the moon. I connect with all of that. And she immediately, like, there was like almost like a weight lifted off of her. Like there was almost like a light that lit up from inside of her, almost like, oh yes, I've been waiting to talk about this to someone, to relate to this. And she started talking about the wolf and the butterfly, and how she's going through some trauma. And it's been very hard because she's processing this trauma for the first time. And I have to point out that shortly before her, so in between my first friend and this random encounter at the same location, I was talking to a third woman, And she briefly also mentioned the butterfly. So it's been like these 3 appointments back to back, all three of the women noticed the butterfly and the wolf and told me how for them the butterfly was a big symbol and how it meant what they were going through as far as transitioning from trauma. So I was like, okay, there's 3 messages here. I don't believe in coincidences at all. So when I sat down to chat with Michael and say, okay, what are we channeling today? It was like I felt him sort of look at me and be like, you know what we're channeling. There is a message, like I gave you the clues today. There is something we need to talk about. So trauma, wolf, butterflies, and moon. And that is all the little hints that Michael has been dropping to me today, very, very strongly. So that led me to pick this oracle deck, the Starseed. And what I usually do is I pick the cards, then I tap into the cards, and then I just simply go into meditative state once again at a deeper level to have Michael just talk to me through, like recapping and adding anything else that he wants me to process from the oracles, right? So let's just go ahead and guys, this is going to be like a really powerful message for many, many of us. Because I went into this thinking, I don't know how all of this relates. I don't know about these synchronicities today. So the first card that came out is Deep Cellular Healing. So Deep Cellular Healing, and it's the Arcturian energy. And it's all about physical and emotional healing. The second card that I pulled is I Remember. And this one is definitely like, it gives me the chills. It's Soul Plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. And then the third card for the Starseed Oracle is We the Hathors. And it's a deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. And so I was like, okay, what does this all mean? So I journal and write down all of the downloads that I get from the channel message, because I want to make sure that I get all of the information that I need to tell you and I don't forget anything. So I'll just go ahead and start telling you about the first card, which is Deep Cellular Healing. So there has been a deep, thick galactic plan that forced or pushed humanity into the way of blindness for such a long time. A plot to have us castigated, although to no real big fault of our own, suppressing memories and powers. So here I got a very strong feeling of there is a plan to hide us from the truth. There is a plan that has kept us hiding from the reality of who we are and how powerful and how loved and how divine we are. But right now there's a deep cellular healing that's happening, like right now. And we can no longer be contained in this darkness. We are awakening. It's inevitable. We're starting to remember who we are and the truth. The truth being at a cosmic, spiritual, divine, and personal level. So this message, like I said, it's a little bit tougher to convey than the first one we've done with channeling Michael. So I really, really, truly hope that my communication and the messages relayed properly through my words, and It's just a little bit more complex than the last one. But basically, when I heard we're starting to remember who we are and the truth at a cosmic, spiritual, divine, and personal level, it felt as if it's the truth about the universe and the world that is not just contained in this earthly history that we've come to learn about. There's just so much more. There's so many other dimensions. There's so much more metaphysical exploration and galactic unity and structures and movement and experiences, and we're sort of blinded to that. So it is an awakening to the truth at a bigger universal scale, but it is also an awakening to the truth about who we are within the galactic experience. And we're not just mere humans who are happening to be born, and then we live a life with limitations, and then we die. It's not like that. And we've always pushed that knowledge and wanted and yearned to learn more for centuries. We've had so many thinkers in different time periods that were always like ahead of their time, and like Nostradamus comes to mind. But now more than ever, it's like we are having this explosion of knowledge and like really opening our eyes. And the reason why that is because, and this is when I tapped into it after the Oracle card pull, it relates to healing at a deep cellular level. Because I was like, well, why is this happening right now, right? This is not the first time the humans have tried to look beyond the earthly realm, right? And the message I got from Michael is that there's been so much disease just in the last decades, much more than our body, which is dormant in its true powers, has been able to take. And yes, we are having, compared to 100, 200 years ago, we have so many more medical technologies and advancements. That's true. We found cures to a lot of things. That's true. But we've also had almost like 1,000 more diseases come out and really afflict us and throwing us off balance and even leading to mortality. And we are in a time frame in humanity where we should be so much more advanced in our healing and in medicine. So the more we went away from healing naturally from the earth and herbs and crystals, yes, we found amazing cures for, medical, scientific grounds. We did have a lot of advancements that help humanity. But we've also exchanged that knowledge and connection to the earth, and we threw everything off balance. So at the same time, we cured some diseases, but there's so much more imbalances and diseases. If you can, it's not easing into our body, it's dis-easing into our body, right? We're not feeling in alignment anymore. And there's been so much of it that our body just is not able to handle it anymore. So that's what I came to understand, that it triggered this new awakening, and the Arcturians are stepping in to help us return to health and healing. They're helping us by putting things into alignment again. They just can't stand just how things have gotten out of control with the human pain, human disease, just the misalignment and the disconnection with the earth. So I won't pretend that I am super knowledgeable about different galactic species and families or anything like that. I'm still very much learning about all of them. I know that the Arcturians are guardians of the earth, and they assist in our emotional and physical and spiritual evolution. So right now, this is what they are increasing, is the evolution, the triggering point where we are starting to awake. So this awakening is coming so strongly that we're becoming like these beacons of light, and we're becoming illuminated, right? And I talked a little bit about this last message with Michael, which I love how he kind of planted the seed, and now we're going into like deepening that conversation about protection, and trusting that we're divinely protected. And now that we're becoming illuminated, we are starting to notice and align and really vibrate with people who are also awakening and also releasing trauma. So we're all kind of like these sponges soaking up each other, like just magnets coming together, because we're all going through this like just really strong evolutionary process of awakening and releasing trauma, because we're waking up to the truth. We're waking up that there's so much more than the 3D. So the second card was I remember soul plan versus the fated life versus destined life. So this one for me was another reminder, a very strong reminder that, and I'm trying to make sure that I have all of my notes here. This one was the reminder that as we're going through this process, we're starting to remember. We're starting to remember who we were, who we are. And as so much trauma is being released, we're making room for those memories and those instincts and those intuitions and downloads that are happening right now, so that we can actually allow ourselves to go back to our original divine being. And I hope that makes sense. It's easier for me to like feel what I mean than explain what I feel. So I really hope that you guys are, understanding what I'm trying to say. But we are definitely at the verge of exploration into who we are, really who we are. And I think it's going to be shocking for some of us, because we've been restricted and hidden in this box. Like you're human, you're just like an earthly being. You are born and you die. And now we're figuring out there's so much more. And that can trigger so much trauma, so much pain, and so much confusion. But it's part of the process. It is part of the process. And then the third card, which was the Hathors, which is deep love, mother's milk, and birth as a portal. So when I started tapping into the specific card, the words old pillars kept coming up to me. Old pillars. So the last card again is about not following the fated life, but which is what we've been told that the life is supposed to be like for human beings, but transitioning to our destined life, who we are destined to be and do as spiritual beings. So the old pillars is letting go of all those old ways of thinking, right? Those ways that restrain us to the 3D, that restrain us to be mediocre, not to expand our purpose, expand our powers and our strength and our intuition and spiritual gifts. The old pillars were all about limitations, feeling that as human beings we're limited in what we can do, what we can create. And now there's a rebirth. There's a rebirth into new portals that are opening, and these new portals are finally showing up because we just can't take it anymore. In the truth, and is coming out, and the chains are being broken. So I thought that was just a beautiful message, a little complex, but it's aligning so well. I feel like completely. And another thing that I want to add about this card, about deep love, mother's milk, this is a very potent card and message. It's all about strong, deep femininity, which is kind of funny because during one of those conversations that I had with a friend this morning that kind of triggered all of this tattoo, butterfly, trauma talk, she mentioned to me how we need to tap more into our femininity. And that's all about creation and birth, right? And this ties also back to the last channeling that I've done with Michael that was about self-love, self-care, treat yourself with respect and kindness and gentleness. And so basically we are all connected in nurturing one another, nurturing ourselves, but also nurturing one another. So these synchronicities, for example, for me today of finding 3 people back to back who randomly just like talked about the same thing, asked me about the same thing, shared with me the same thing about their trauma and transformation and journey and what they're looking for. That is happening right now more strongly because so much trauma is being released. And a lot of it, to be honest with you, I'm tapping that it is related about religious trauma and social restraint trauma. So again, we're those lights and we're attracting each other, we're shining light on each other and becoming a nurturing, almost motherly light to one another so that we're connecting and we're relatable. We're becoming so relatable. We no longer feel like we're in this alone, in this awakening, in this experience of opening our eyes and saying, hey, yeah, something is happening. We are evolving. I am much more than this. So that's the channel message. I hope all of this makes sense. Let me know. I try to relay it as simply as possible, and sometimes it's hard when I try to explain what I'm channeling. But I hope that it is meaningful to you and it makes sense. One last thing I asked was, okay, but is there anything more that I need to know and share about the wolf and the moon symbolism? Because obviously that was a very strong topic of conversation today. And the wolf is all about courage, loyalty, and strong ties. So again, we're shining light on one another because we're looking for that tribe. We're looking for people who are experiencing the same thing we are going through. So right now we have that energy of the wolf finding our pack and backing each other up, giving courage to one another. And then the moon it's the middle light between the light of the sun and darkness of night. So the moon is representing basically that realm between conscious and unconscious and how we are emerging through it, going from the 3D human limitations, moving towards starting to see the light and starting to understand more and more. And then of course the last card that I pulled from Michael's deck is a favorable outcome. And Michael basically confirms that this is all happening for our highest good. Even though the process may be a little bit difficult, this is exactly what needs to happen. There is like a sense of like happiness and rejoice in just finding out who we are really and experiencing this new ascension and this new knowledge. So he says there's a beautiful plan unfolding. So that's the message that I have, and it was a little bit deeper than I expected it, but I think that it was meant to be. It was what we all needed to hear. So if this, as always, resonates with you, drop me a comment, share, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you're going through similar journeys. Yeah, I would love to hear your feedback on it. And help me grow this channel so that more people can receive this beautiful message of encouragement and not feeling like they are alone in this process, because we're not. So you can help by liking the videos and subscribing and sharing, just so we can feel a little bit more united. No matter where we are in the world, we can feel like we are part of this pack, part of this tribe. So I love you all. Thank you for tuning in, and I will talk to you next time.